That intro beginning seemed particularly long today.
Like, what are we doing? We're just sitting.
Welcome to the Common Good Podcast, where we can't seem to figure out how not to have a opening song countdown happen, apparently. even though we run it. Hey, I live just a block from Minneapolis, so coming to you live from sightlines of Minneapolis. Rob squirreled away somewhere outside of Fayetteville, Arkansas. Rob, how's the icy weather there? Are you guys all iced in? Are you one of those places?
We got I don't know, we got 8-10 inches of snow. Whimsy had 4 days off of school.
Wow.
Yesterday it was 60 degrees. Just ridiculous.
It's wonderful. Because I live in Minneapolis, I've been out dealing with the ramifications of a federal hostile takeover of a great American city, living under siege here in the Twin Cities. I haven't been paying attention to other things as much as I wanted to, and I saw a friend's posting from Nashville, Andrew Moran, great musician, good friend, wonderful pastor. And she said, there was a photo of her with some people, and she said, day 4 of no power and being huddled in the house. And I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, those other things often are also happening. You know that feeling where you're just in the middle of something and it can feel like, not that I don't know other things are happening. I'm not that myopic, but you just aren't taking anything else in because what's coming at you right now is just top of mind. That is, that's been my week last.
Yeah. So do you have a big Super Bowl prediction?
Shelly, my wife, you know her, you've met her.
I do know your wife.
That's one of my favorite bits. She said to me last night, is the Super Bowl on Sunday? And I said, nah, I don't know. That's what I didn't even know.
It is.
Is it Sunday? Okay.
Yeah. You got a big prediction?
Yes.
Yeah.
There will be a winning team. Now, it's going to be the team wearing their home uniforms.
Oh.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
I was just hoping there that both teams don't get to wear their home uniforms, that one of them has to wear the visiting uniforms.
Yeah, typically,
how does that go?
Typically one team is the home team and one team is the away team. And they wear typically one team will wear a white uniform and the other team will wear a colored uniform.
I think the team wearing the colored uniforms are going to win.
Okay, I think those are typically away uniforms, but
the colored uniforms are away.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's different. I don't know.
Let me be clear on my predictions for the betting.
This feels like something I would know that I don't know, and I'm probably at some point when you are ranting about stuff that you're going to rant about, I'll probably sit here and Google it.
You'll look it up.
Yeah.
The team wearing the colorful uniforms are going to win. There is little doubt in my mind about that. What team could that be?
Well, it is the Super Bowl is the New England Patriots
again.
At least it's not the Kansas City Chiefs, against the Seattle Seahawks.
Rob, I am old enough to be in the community that says, it's the Patriots again and again and again. And I know they've been supplanted recently by the Kansas City Chiefs being in the Super Bowl many times. But this feels flashbacky to, I don't know, late 90s. Would that be right? Or early 2000s?
When the 2000s, Yeah.
And Seattle's been there a couple times.
Yeah. Do you have opinions about Bill Belichick not being elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first ballot?
It is just a scandal that, I can hardly slept last night thinking about it. Yeah. It's just terrible. I can't remember if Belichick was the Trumpy guy. It was, what was he?
Oh yeah, Yeah.
Well, you think that had something to do with it because he's
not at all.
An immoral person.
I think it was politics of the petty football kind. Doug, have you noticed the merch here?
I'm seeing it now.
Look at that Robb for Congress mug.
Cheers to you, candidate, because you are my favorite. That should be our photo. That should be our screenshot photo.
There we go. Yeah, everybody head over to robforcongress.com, get your merch, get your tote bag, get your hat, get your Abolish ICE t-shirt, all that stuff.
Do you guys have hoodies?
We do.
Do you
There are
wear one
hoodies
and then
available.
you're robbing a hoodie?
Mm-hmm.
I just did that right now.
Wow.
We're robbing a hoodie.
Ah.
Because it's time to move this government that cares about the wealthy and have them care for the poor. You coming in like robbing a hoodie.
So dumb.
So dumb. Just wonderfully dumb.
I kind of like it though.
What do you think you are? Some kind of a robbing a hoodie? Oh, that's beautiful. We could take the little thing. I could be Little John. You could be Robin Hoodie, walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other one has to say. You know that song? Oodalali, golly, what a day. We could go through it. Man, my voice is shot. Can you hear it? Does it sound like it? I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean,
use
you've
all
had a
of my
lot
voice.
going on. You've been out on the street in the cold weather, screaming and yelling and singing and all of
Talking
that.
into a phone.
Yeah. I got an email yesterday from someone I know who used to live in Texas, now lives in Kansas. And the message said, "Hey, Rob, just wanted to let you know that my husband forwarded me a video, and it was Doug singing in Minneapolis." And, not you singing, but
which
singing
terrified you, knowing that I am not the world's greatest singer.
No, that's not what I said. I said you're not
verbatim.
the best singer.
Not the world's greatest singer.
I said you're not the best singer in the world.
Okay, that may be true.
Which, come on, that's
as
very
nobody is.
few of us are.
As well, there would be one. But simply, by the way, for those that don't know this thing, I sang music at a thing that Rob was at outside in front of people where I played my guitar and sung, and Rob's only comment was, "Well, you're not the world's best singer."
Okay, listen, I had.
And then I said, "How was the guitar playing at least?" And he said, "Well, it happened."
No, I did not do that. I did not.
Also not good, I think is what you said, but that's not the point.
No, that's not at all.
But I will show this video.
Yeah.
I've been recording a lot of videos and posting them to Instagram. And if people want to follow either Vote Common Good or me on Instagram, sometimes all the videos get over on Instagram. But what I've been trying to do here in Minneapolis is to capture all the places where people have been responding, from the memorial sites of Renee Good, who was shot and killed by a Trump-sent ICE agent, to Alex Preddy's memorial, where he was shot and killed by Trump's sent ICE agents, to the Whipple building, the federal building that now has been taken over and used as a place to process American citizens and others who have been gathered up by Trump-sent ICE agents, that the occupation is being resisted by people here in Minneapolis. And I've tried to capture that. And because this is a great city and because so many things are going on, there have been so many things to record. Like one morning, I was out at 5:45 in the morning at Alex Preddy's memorial site because I wanted to talk with the people who sleep there overnight. Just regular old citizens in 20 below weather, sleeping outside, to be sure that nobody comes and destroys the memorial spots, and so that there's never a moment where a living person is not there holding vigil. Incredible. So I went there at 5:45 in the morning, and then at 7:30 in the morning went over to the Whipple building, and there were faith leaders and community organizers and a bunch of union groups, and there were 1,000 people there raising their voice in protest. And then went downtown, and Bruce Springsteen came in town and shot a little video of his car driving by, and then there was a huge march that went on, and then I lost track. And then I don't know. The next day there were 2,000 people in a biking vigil because Alex Preddy was a big cyclist, and so I'm on my fat tire bike. A bunch of other people. There are thousands of us going on a 10-mile ride by the sites and out to the VA and coming back, and then later that day or the next day, then 1,000 more people or 2,000 people got together in a singing action. They sang in a church and warmed up, practiced. People taught them the songs. came outside, and this is a group that's here in Minneapolis that's recently formed called Singing Resistance. And if you're into any of this stuff, you should go. They now have a toolkit with the songs that they've written, the protest songs, and how people sing them and how to work. Go to Singing Resistance on Instagram, and you can download all their stuff. It's incredible. So anyway, I go around and I record all this stuff, and I just post Instagram videos like right while they're happening. Like I don't do them live because it's Instagram, but I record them quick, and then I upload, these 2 or 3 3-minute videos. And for some reason, this particular one has really sort of captured people. But like, I don't have a lot of Instagram followers, and our Vote Common Good doesn't really have all that. Like we're not using Instagram really, and we're not influencers. But like some of these videos are 300,000 views. There's one, I don't know, 30-second one of me just chopping ice at the memorial, trying to create a space, joining in other people, trying to create a space for people to get to the sidewalk and not have to walk on literally the ice. 350,000 people watch this thing. But then this video I'm going to show you now has 2.5 million views. Mm-hmm. It's just bonkers. And it has nothing to do with me. What it's an indicator of, people want to see what the resistance looks like, and they want some good news, and they want to get close. And I choose to just shoot them. I don't edit, I don't cut, I don't put other things over them. I don't go into my cap wing or whatever and do all the stuff that other people on Instagram do. I just like record them and talk and then post them. And all those Singing Resistance ones have a lot. But what we did was we left the church and then went to 2 hotels where ICE agents are being housed and stood outside and sang to them. The song, the one that kind of took off for whatever reason, is people outside of a Marriott, all of us outside of a Marriott singing, you can lay down your arms. The call that we had to the ICE agents was, it's time for you to quit your jobs. It's time for you to lay down your arms and join the rest of us. So it was pretty great. So I'll show you just a couple seconds of that. What do you think, Rob? Is that be all right? Because those things don't always get on this.
Absolutely.
This
I think, I think that's great.
So here it is. You think so, do you, fella? Well, I don't know. I don't know why that's not playing, Rob. Okay, I can't show it to you.
Okay, I took a bite of my apple slice.
You'll just have to imagine it, or go to wherever where you're watching this. If you're watching this on a Vote Common Good channel, you could likely see it, or elsewhere. I'm not sure why that video's not working. I don't know if I didn't upload a proper video to it. I don't know.
Doug, what's the mood around Minneapolis right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Rob. Look, the mood here is resilience, sadness, anger, and determination. Like, these are the things that the people of Minneapolis are taking extraordinarily seriously. Is that we know what threat we're under here. It is truly not theoretical. It is truly not an exaggeration to say that an American city is under threat of the federal government. They have tried to cut our funding that's owed to us for programs from the federal budget that was allocated by Congress. They've tried to cut housing funding, food funding. They've opened investigations against the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis. They have not opened investigations, the Justice Department, against ICE officials who shot and killed 2 Minnesota citizens. But they're prosecuting ICE agents. They have arrested journalists. Yeah. They have thugs that are roaming our streets, shooting pepper spray in people's faces. They are detaining American citizens at a 60% rate of all the people that they're detaining. They are just literally profiling people. So that is happening in our American cities. And you know who's not here? The Don't Tread on Me crowd?
Yep.
The libertarians. Where are all these? Here comes a rant, Rob, where you can go check that thing. Where are all the libertarians who've been saying for all of these years that what matters to them is their constitutional rights and freedom from the government? Freedom is not provided by the government. Where are those people? I've been out there. You know what I have not seen once? A "Don't Tread on Me" flag. You know how many Trump events I've been to and watched Trump supporters walk around with their "Don't Tread on Me" flags? You know, during COVID, we were doing a political event somewhere. This guy's from New Hampshire or Vermont, and he comes up and he's doing this thing on the street, and he's saying, I'm not going to wear one of those masks. The government can't tell me what to do, and blah, blah, blah. His little thing that he's shooting on Instagram ends. He walks over to his buddies, reaches in his pocket, and pulls out his COVID mask and puts it on. Somebody with him said, "Why are you putting your mask?" He goes, "I'm not going to get COVID over this." Yeah, because it's all cosplay. When the real moment comes, when real federal agents come into a city, start shutting down businesses and detaining American citizens, arresting journalists, prosecuting governors and mayors of cities, where are they? Nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And Rob, you know I have been emboldened to be sure that Republicans don't maintain power at the federal level, and that has not worked in the last 4 years. They currently have control of all branches of the government, and I just want to say to anybody who is questioning at all whether the Democrats can earn their vote, whether they think, well, I don't like that particular candidate's view on this other thing. If you don't want to participate in our electoral process to be sure that people who want to give blessing to what the Trump administration is doing in our country right now, then feel free to sit it out. But my encouragement is please don't act like you're doing something heroic, because you are not. Sitting it out, saying I just can't possibly, because fair enough, you don't have to vote. Join the 1/3 of the country who doesn't participate. But for the love of all goodness, don't lecture the rest of us about your high moral standing. Just admit you won't do anything to stop the political situation. And if you give me your two sides argument, I'm going to have a hard time listening to it. Maybe until the federal agents leave my city and show up in yours.
Yeah.
I am mad.
Yeah. You want to just run around yelling, "This is not a drill." Like we had all of those times, Doug, just this morning, you sent me a video on Facebook, or a YouTube video in our chat. It was entirely too long of a video to send somebody in a chat, but I watched it nonetheless. It was about Generation X, which, you don't believe in, but
I believe in it. I don't believe in theories around it. But anyway, go on.
Yeah,
I am one.
Yep. It talked about how Generation X, part of it was, we grew up in the shadow of the Cold War, and the idea that we had these drills in school, where we would hide under our desks, these bomb drills, where we would, if a nuclear attack happened, this is what we would do. And we would climb under our desks. And I remember in second grade doing those drills.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a drill.
Right.
This is actually happening now.
Yes.
This is it's not Ren Fair cosplay. It's not a, Civil War reenactment.
Yes.
Where everybody's dressing up and pretending and acting out parts. It's not live action Dungeons and Dragons. This is actually happening right now in a great American city. The federal government has that city under siege, is literally killing American citizens.
Yes.
And reveling in it.
Yes.
Trampling on our fundamental rights, our First Amendment rights of speech and assembly, our Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms, like our due process,
Yes.
search and seizure. All of our rights as American citizens are under siege literally by the federal government in
Yes.
an American city at this moment.
Yes.
This is not a drill.
Completely. It is live. It is happening. The revolution will be video recorded, because I've never understood what that whole protest thing was about. The the revolution will not be televised. I've never understood what they were talking about there. Perhaps you do. Yeah, you are exactly right. If you've wondered, could it ever happen? Is there ever a possibility that something of this sort could happen in the United States of America? The answer is an unequivocal. It is happening.
Yeah.
It is literally happening. Now, Rob, I've been able to manage, while you were giving your eloquent thoughts there, to be able to play this video. Here's one of the response levels. I will make this perfectly clear as well. The city of Minneapolis has not taken up violent actions against ICE. To be perfectly clear to everyone, this city has not burned itself. Citizens have not attacked federal agents. Kyle Rittenhouse has not come out in the street bearing big arms and aiming them at ICE agents. We are going to use the legitimacy of the federal government and the legitimacy of state government to repel an attack on an American city. And if you can support the people who won't stand up for this, God love you. Because I'm not sure when you would, ever. And that's fine. Maybe you don't have to. But this is the kind of thing that we were involved in the other day. Okay, we've gotten to the first hotel. It's this Marriott downtown where ICE agents are staying. And this group is gathered to sing them into the common good. I won't make you watch the full 2 minutes of it, but that just goes on. And then we walked to another hotel and sang, "You can join us." It's actually, when the organizers of that event described it, they talked about what had gone on in Yugoslavia and how they were calling the soldiers to defect. 2 Fridays ago, there was a call in Minneapolis for a work shutdown and a march, and 50,000 people came out in frigid temperatures. Last Friday, there was a national call for a work shutdown. Tens of thousands of people marched here and around the country. The people who need to lead a work shutdown are ICE agents. All the so-called good ones, all the good Border Patrol, all the good CPB folks. When you watch an ICE agent shoot an American citizen in the back and then 2 people unload 10 rounds into his body, when you see an ICE agent shoot a woman 3 times and then call her an effing bitch, if that strikes you as problematic, ICE agents, federal employees, we shouldn't be quitting our jobs for the day. You should be quitting yours. It's unacceptable that these people just continue thinking, well, maybe we should bring in Tom Homan and he could sort of, fix it a little bit. Yeah. The whole project is fundamentally broken.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the impact of the arrival of Tom Homan. Have you seen any impact from that at all? It's a little unusual to me that he would be the one called in as the calming force in some way, because he feels like a total chaos agent in my mind. And he's the adult in the room now for these folks.
Yes.
Now, is it that he's going to rein things back, or is it that he's going to actually help them be more effective in doing what they're doing?
Look, Operation Metro Surge, which is a little nickname that they've given to this horrible,
like they're a military force.
Like they're a military force with their little nicknames, has been a complete abject failure. They've not rounded up people that need to be deported. No, barely any. They captured up a little kid and his dad who doesn't have a deportation order, sent them to Texas, got sued, and had to send him back.
Yep.
They're advertising how they captured these two guys on the street that the the Minneapolis police couldn't hold. And then the Department of Corrections does a press conference and then launches a website, the Minnesota Department of Corrections, a website specifically geared to counter the lies coming from DHS and from ICE. So they say in a press conference and then on the website, and you can watch the video, where the director of detention says, they're saying that this person who had this assault crime, they found him on the street. Here's the video of us handing him over to ICE inside of our facility. So if people say to you, why
it's almost as if we can't trust this government to tell us the truth.
And Rob, just consider this. Just consider this for a moment. This fundamental argument that all of these people make. Why do you want to protect the pedophiles? Why do you want to protect the abusers? Why do you want to protect these criminals? Let me ask you this. How does ICE know that there's a criminal here? How do they know a crime took place? You think ICE is snooping around like frickin' Columbo, solving cases? They are not. They are looking at data from the state of Minnesota, corresponding that to names and seeing if there can be a deportation order, which means the person is already been dealt with by corrections in the state of Minnesota.
Yes.
One more rant here.
Yeah.
Then just outside of the city of Minneapolis, there was a person held in detention that ICE wanted, a person who committed crimes and should be deported. They called ICE multiple times over a week to come and get him. ICE never came. The Department of Corrections said, we have no legal authority to hold the person. He has served his time. You need to come get him. What else are we going to do? So ICE is taking credit for cleaning up the streets by actually taking somebody from Minnesota custody and putting him into the deportation process, and another person they never even came and got, and the guy disappeared. So this whole these are the people they're bragging about. There is no criminal that they have gathered up that needed to be taken out of Minnesota that Department of Corrections didn't already have their hands on.
We have a system in the United States of America to handle when someone commits a crime. And just a reminder to everybody, overstaying your visa is not a criminal offense. It's a civil violation. It's not a crime.
Yes.
When someone commits a crime, is a criminal, we have a system that includes local police, county sheriffs, state troopers, investigators, even the FBI.
Yes.
There is a process of arrest, arraignment, indictment, a trial by jury, a conviction, appeals processes, punishment that is not cruel and unusual. We have a process to deal with criminals. This idea that our streets are somehow overrun with lawlessness is simply not true.
It's just not true.
We don't need extra police presence beyond what our system already is. You know, we've got a system. It is flawed for sure. It makes mistakes, absolutely. But we have a system. We don't need to layer on a whole nother quote unquote criminal enforcement agency and a criminal enforcement force to muddy up and complicate and screw up the system that currently exists.
Rob, let me ask you, for all the critiques you've ever heard about our law and penal system in the United States, say in our Generation X lifetime, has it ever been that we don't convict enough people? Have you ever heard someone say, you know, the problem here is that we're arresting and prosecuting not nearly enough?
Yeah,
no, every critique is we're arresting the wrong people. Trump supporters, do you think maybe they arrested the wrong guy and convicted the wrong guy of the 34 felony convictions of Donald Trump? The argument, we need to put billions of dollars into another force to come into American cities in a flashbang and gather up all the criminals just standing around warming their hands by the fire with their little stogies in their mouths like it's somehow some fiction of the 1930s. We don't have a lawlessness problem in the United States. And if you do that thing, any of you, where you suggest that someone having a incompliant visa process, do you know what the punishment in the United States of America is for coming in the country without documentation or overstaying a visa?
The way the law is written.
Do you know what the punishment is for that?
Statutory punishment.
Deportation. Can't put anybody in jail. You can't even hold them in detention the way they're doing it. You can argue that America would be better if it was lawless, but you cannot argue for law and order and then bless what this administration is doing time and time and time and time again. The two things are in direct conflict with each other.
Yep.
Okay, many more things to talk about on this front. Do you want to talk about a shocking Democratic win in a special election in a Texas state Senate race? Or do you want to talk about the Epstein files full of all kinds of people, including Bill Gates, Elon Musk, are named in the Epstein files? You know who else is named in the Epstein files? Jon Stewart. Did you know that?
No.
Jon Stewart. Because somebody writing to Jeffrey Epstein said, I think you should do some little, like we should do some newsy things with Woody Allen that would be sort of like, maybe we could have him interviewed by Jon Stewart. So his name is in there. So it's true, there's a lot of people who are named in the Epstein files. Some are named in someone brainstorming how you could revitalize the career of a gone bad Hollywood actor and director. And the other are people who committed crimes by assaulting children.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is not in there because someone's like, hey, we should call Elon. Elon's in there because he's writing to Jeffrey Epstein, when can I come to the island? Bill Gates is in there because people are trying to help him figure out how he can solve the sexually transmitted infection that he got and how he could slip medication to his then wife without her knowing it. So if you think this is all just political stuff because everybody wants to get Trump, no, we want to get Trump because he's the president of the United States and he was caught up for decades with an active pedophile ring. The very thing that all the QAnoners were telling us they wanted to attack a pizza parlor in New York over. Should we talk about that one, Rob, or do you want to talk about this?
And let's
these people.
Let's say in a loud and clear voice, if Bill Clinton is accused, indicted, arrested, arraigned, tried, convicted, he should face the full weight of the United States justice system in punishing him for those crimes. If Bill Clinton has been involved in pedophilia, he should absolutely feel the full and total wrath of the United States justice system. And so should Donald Trump. Okay? It's not a partisan thing here. It's not partisan. I'd ask my Trump supporting friends, can you say the same thing?
They say the same thing.
You say the same thing? Can you?
You know, there's this rhetorical argument thing that I use with people where I'll say, if it were true, would it bother you?
Right.
Which is different than you have to believe it's true. But if it were true. So when someone were to say to me, if Bill Clinton were tied up with Jeffrey Epstein and going to his island for the purpose of having engagement in all the immoral horribleness that's going on in the island, would that bother you? Yes, it would. Would that cause you to not support the man? Yes, it would. Would that cause you to want to speak out in opposition to him? Yes, it would. It would. If it were true about Donald Trump, would you? Even if you say we couldn't possibly prosecute this, there's not enough proof, law. Yep. But if you read things that you determined were true, because if you determine they're not true, then somehow a convicted pedophile and his cohort, who were arrested and charged, and one is in prison and the other killed himself, somehow got a whole bunch of people for decades around them to lie in personal emails being sent back and forth. For what reason? What reason would Bill Gates or Donald Trump, or as Yabbits puts in the comments, people writing about Vladimir Putin meeting people in Moscow, why would they be just lying about all that to each other for decades in some big grand cover-up? Or we're now seeing the actual communication of these people, and they've done horrible things, from Bill Gates to the president of Harvard. I don't care. It actually, Rob, actually sickens me. I don't care what they were doing on the island. The fact that all these people are palling around and going anywhere together and doing all this stuff, let alone the fact that it's so debased, horrible, sexual perversions. Melinda Gates said this morning in an interview with NPR, there was a reckoning about her own husband. Like, she's like, I had to get out of all that, and I did. And I don't know if you've watched that interview, but wow. And she's just like, look, he's got to answer for himself. There was a reckoning happening. All of these people have been up to this stuff, and it's all coming out now. And there's lots of reasons why lots of people wanted to keep this stuff covered up. And there's another 3 million records, files and emails and pages full of stuff that the government said we can't release that because that would put people into somehow a harmful, difficult situation. And nobody's auditing that other than the people literally making the decision. The only people auditing what they're not releasing, the federal government, are people who work for Donald Trump.
And I want to make a distinction too, that, when we when we hear different things that are mentioned, they're in the Epstein files. In the files contain different types of information, different types of communication. There is in the files logs, descriptions of victim testimony, allegations about individuals and what they may or may not have done to other people on Jeffrey Epstein's island and in his sphere. Those include conversations that took place between FBI agents, Department of Justice agents, and victims face to face. There is also a log of allegations made via a tip line. There are also communications, email transcripts between people talking about what is happening, who they're interacting with, what their requests might be. So we recognize that, okay, I think we have to hold these things with different levels of trustworthiness. The least trustworthy information would be stuff that's being called in on an anonymous tip line. Mm-hmm. Because those things may be true, or it may be people wanting to extract some kind of political revenge on their opponents.
Sure.
And so they can call the tip line and say whatever they want. And now that person is in the Epstein files. Okay. So we say, okay, the stuff that's from the tip line, let's practice a lot of suspended judgment with this stuff. The stuff that's coming directly from victims, well, that you take with a whole lot less of a grain of salt. Because these are people who have telling their personal experiences. There's going to be need to corroborate, investigate, understand, and as you would in any investigation. But that's going to be much more reliable. And then you have the category of friends talking with friends about stuff in what they believe at the time were private conversations. The likelihood, now you ask yourself, where are the lies going to be? You've an anonymous tip line, you think the lies are going to be most likely there. Victims telling their stories, you might get some, not lies, you may get some lies, you might not get specific, you might get some things that are a little off base because memories play tricks and all sorts of stuff. You might get some stuff that's not as reliable. The place where you're not going to find lies are friends talking to friends, making plans or talking about things that have happened.
Right.
When Jeffrey Epstein sends an email to his friend Steve Bannon about their mutual friend Donald Trump, I think you can probably expect that communication is going to reflect something very true.
At least those two people believe that what they were exchanging in that email exchange was truthful and accurate because they never expected anyone else to read it. Why would Jeffrey Epstein lie to Steve Bannon about the things about Donald Trump?
He wouldn't. When Jeffrey Epstein emails Steve Bannon about how Donald Trump is wandering around his house in his underwear, if if Jeffrey Epstein had emailed anybody about Bill Clinton walking around his house in his underwear, which we would know with Bill Clinton would be boxers, not briefs.
Forgot all about that.
I'm a Gen X guy. I watched MTV back when there were music videos and presidential debates. We would not hear the end of it on Fox News.
Yes.
Why is Donald Trump wandering around Jeffrey Epstein's house in his underwear?
And why is Jeffrey Epstein telling Steve Bannon that Donald Trump is wandering around his house in his underwear?
Because they're laughing at him. Because he's a buffoon.
Yes. And because he walked around Jeffrey Epstein's house in his underwear. May or may not bother you. And I don't say that facetiously. It doesn't bother a third of the country in a way that would change their behavior and their support. So you just should own that to your own self. That stuff doesn't bother you to the point that you wouldn't support the man. Look, progressives like us have had a hard time in our society and our culture pushing morals and rights and wrongs. It's in our little Gen X lifetime, because we were latchkey kids and we saw the shuttle blow up. It's been very hard for us to know how to trust people because we didn't know if anyone was going to be home when we got home after school. So we were on our own. I mean, apparently, to everybody, they think Gen X kids were all only children. So they came home to an empty, cold house, alone, nobody else there, no siblings, no babysitters. I'm just mocking, friends, the nonsense that's put out about why Gen Xers are so different than Gen Zers, and because they've experienced a different world. And it's
because they were born, within a certain date range.
Yeah, I would much rather have someone tell me about that they were born under the wrong sign, man. I don't even remember where I was going with that. I've totally lost the thread in my own mind. All right. A third of the country and 50% of the voting participants in the 2024 election said, "Give me that guy."
Yep.
So problem. Our job, because morals have been a difficult thing for a lot of people in the United States, progressives in the United States, to want to wrap our heads around. Mm-hmm. It's time to find our moral spine.
Yep.
It's okay to say things are wrong. Maybe not have we made statute, laws about what's wrong, and we're going to punish certain wrongdoing. We don't make criminal every moral failure. Something being good, something being bad, something being right, something being wrong is not the same as something being illegal and something being legal. We have a whole separate category for the things that we're going to use the power of our state, county, and federal governments to make criminal and to punish people for them. But you can lie to people. You can be in a relationship that sexually exploits another person. You can cheat on your wife. You can get a sexually transmitted disease and then try to sneak medication into your wife so she doesn't find you out by her contracting the disease. You can walk around in your underwear and stand with 15 and 16-year-old girls. It's not illegal. It's immoral. It's wrong. And if you all want to reach the point, any of us, where the only thing we're going to care about is, did a group of lawmakers get together and make it illegal? That's the only thing that's ever going to capture our attention. So yes, if you're going to lie to the government on your federal taxes and to the state on your state taxes, that's going to be illegal. If you lie to your business partner about it, it's not. So Donald Trump is convicted 34 times for the felonies that he committed. And his moral wrongs, endless. Endless. And when he takes that lack of moral life and implements it by saying to ICE agents, in response to a question from a reporter, do you think ICE has gone too far in Chicago by tackling mothers and throwing them to the ground, setting off smoke bomb canisters in suburban neighborhoods, and taking citizens of the United States into custody?
Yep.
His answer was, I don't think they've gone far enough. And a month later, they're unloading their pistols into the back of a man on the street in Minneapolis. Is he criminally responsible? Nope, because he's the president. Is he morally culpable? Yes. So at some point, we have to reach some kind of conversation in a pluralistic society where there's things that are right and there's things that are wrong. Now, do we want to put all of those into statute? Do we want to put pressure on somebody that the federal government's going to come around and be the moral police? No, even though some people want to make sure that they're going to really lock down who's using what bathroom. But short of the laws being created, there has to be something that causes us to say to each other, this is wrong.
Yep.
It's not about right versus left. It's about right versus
wrong. Yeah.
And if you want to prevent immoral, unethical actions from being put into the government's hands and enforced with the threat of violence from the government, Republicans cannot be trusted with our federal government any longer.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a friend last night. He's like, man, you are so hardwired into the Democrats. You just think that the Democrats. I'm like, I am fundamentally committed to making sure that Republicans do not have the power to inflict on anyone what they're inflicting on this country currently and on this city. That's my commitment. And if you think there's somebody else we could vote for that could stop Republicans, there's not.
Yeah.
There is a single choice, one choice.
Yep. Doug, let me rapid fire some news stories at you to get your reaction, get your thoughts. Ilhan Omar squirted with apple cider vinegar by a man at a press conference.
Was that what it was?
I think so.
Okay. I didn't hear. I just saw that she was squirted with something. I saw the video, but I didn't hear what it was. Apple cider vinegar. Clearly done as a threat, clearly done to destabilize her, clearly done to attack her, no matter what it is. Designed to make her back down. I was so proud of her that she didn't. That she even said to her own staff, I'm not leaving. This guy's not going to win. I'm not leaving the room. Get him out of the room. That bit.
Yeah.
Rob, I don't know if you know, but Ilhan Omar is from the country of Somalia.
Mm-hmm.
There's many Somali people in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities area.
Mm-hmm.
They're a robust part of our community, have been for 20 years. Second and third generations of people here now. I was standing down at the Alex Peretti Memorial, and there were a group of Somali women who were making little sandwiches for us, little deep fried sandwiches, drinks. They were handing them out to us. We said, are you a restaurant? They said, no, we all just know how to make this. We have this business over here. And I'm looking in the eyes of an older woman, must have been in her 60s, maybe older. I said to her, how are you doing? She said, I come from Somalia. we know what to do.
Mm.
Looked over at her daughter. You can watch some of the videos of them giving us the food.
Yeah.
Hijab on, these bright, clear eyes. Oh, she said, "Oh, we're out here," waving at the camera. "We want people to see us. We are showing our faces. Come and get us, ICE." The Somali community here that so many of the Trump supporters want to denigrate and say that they're criminals because Muslims lie, all the just vitriolic cultural hatred. Yeah, have you ever met one? Yeah. You know how tough they are? You think you could live in a country that's struggled the way Somalia has, survive, go live in a refugee camp for a dozen years, and then come into Minnesota, a place you don't know and a language you don't speak, and build a family? And then do you think you'd be standing out there with your adult daughter, serving food and hot drinks and smiling and singing and cheering on the resistance to another country's government that's attacking you? And you think you all are tough? These people are incredible. We have very good friends that we helped in a family support group when they came here to support their family, a circle that was put together during the Biden administration to support Afghan refugees, because the federal government was defunded from helping those refugees under Trump's first administration. So there was no money to help them when they had to get out of Afghanistan. So a bunch of people had to form circles. And one of the circles we formed is with a family that came. One of the people who came then from Afghanistan, just she got here 4 years ago, has now completed her law degree and now is an immigration lawyer supporting the same people. And I was talking to her the other day, looking her in the eyes, and I said, "How's this feeling to you?" And she said, "I want to help the people who helped me the way I want to help the people now like the people who helped me when I was being helped." Okay. And I said, "I feel like we're trying to be Afghanistan tough." And she said, "I don't think you ever will be." Because you want to talk about religious trauma? Yeah. People that lived under the Taliban, literally at the airport when things were collapsing, had to run around and get out of there and get into cars and drive into Jordan and duck around and live in a refugee camp. And now she's a lawyer here. I talked to her brother, Sami, and Sami's standing there and he's like full of joy. And I said, "Sami, you doing okay?" He goes, "We know how to live with this." Like, we are taking our hints about this attack from people from Somalia and Afghanistan. So when somebody wants to say Ilhan Omar doesn't know how to be the kind, you don't think so, huh? Yeah. You think she's going to duck and run when somebody squirts some apple cider vinegar at her? Which, by the way, is great for your digestion. If you've never tried it, put in a little bit of water, take a shot or two of it in the morning. It really can help your great digestion. It's wonderful for you. But I don't think that's why he was using apple cider vinegar. Yeah.
Okay.
It is exhausting to watch the cosplay folks in America act like they're the tough ones and they're going to protect our government from these people that are trying to steal from us.
Ilhan Omar squaring up is one of the greatest things to watch. Yeah. Yeah. I would, there have been times where, Donald Trump has been, there've been loud noises, there's been bangs, there's been things that have caused him to flinch and react. To contrast that with Ilhan Omar's reaction to this guy coming at her was really amazing.
It's fascinating. Okay, and look, just one more bit on that rant. You want to come to Minneapolis and see how many immigrants from Central America, South America, Somalia, Afghanistan have started businesses and are thriving? You want to talk about how hard it is to start a business? Can you imagine going to a place where you don't speak the language and then you were successful enough to run a business? And what you want to focus on is some of the people who got caught up in a healthcare fraud scam led by a Minnesotan born here white woman? So tell me about how you're the free enterprise people and you're the ones that'll figure out how to do this. Come stare these people in the face. Come have a meal with them. Come exchange stories about what it's been like and what made you so tough that you figured out the meaning of liberty. Yeah, tell us all that, how tough you are. and how much liberty means to you. Because I want to hear the time when you fled a nation where your liberties were taken. You risked your life. You protected other people. You lived in a refugee camp. You came to a country that's not your home, that didn't speak the language, and you made a business, and you're out on the streets defending other people. I want to hear that story from all the rest of you that are standing here saying, get them out of our country, revoke their temporary protective status.
Doug, I don't think you know what, like lightning round, like, do you know what that means?
Yeah, you know what lightning round means? Means lightning strikes and then you're on fire. That's what it means.
I love it. Okay. On Dan Bongino, his podcast, now that he's no longer, on the government dole, Donald Trump said this, and I quote, "The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting."
Donald Trump is a ridiculous man that says ridiculous things. Why we decide that the same man who says ridiculous things about every manner of American life should sometimes be taken seriously? The man is trolling and nonsense gibbering.
Okay.
You know what you can't do? Federalize local elections. We should all just say, ignore the man when he talks like that and spend time when he's sending agents. And if he wants to spend his time going through the votes from 2020 in Fulton County, Georgia, because he believes that the Italian government and the Chinese governments were funded by Barack Obama to steal satellite data, have at it, old man. Have at it. I hope he spends the rest of his days in office trying to figure out how Republicans can take over and nationalize local elections against the Constitution. Would love for him to spend his time doing that. Is that short enough?
Yeah. Doug, egg on our face here. Amazon MGM Studios Melania, directed by Brett Ratner, opened on January 30th in 1,800 theaters to $7.1 million, the biggest debut for a non-concert documentary in over a decade, with 600,000 admissions and a solid $4,000 per theater average. The Melania documentary had a strong U.S. debut, Doug.
600,000 people chose to go see her film. 74 million people voted for Donald Trump. Rob, can you do some quick math? What percentage of 74 million is 650,000? Yeah, people like Donald Trump. You know what they do? They admire the guy. They idolize the guy. They love his wife. They want to go. Now, I don't know a business proposition that spends $45 million to acquire the rights and $35 million to produce. So an $80 million budget for a documentary that spans all of 20 days and then earns out $7 million in theater revenues opening week. They better hope for a really big streaming audience.
Well, the streamer already paid for it. Amazon's yeah.
Well, they better hope that they're going to either build or keep paying customers or keep paying customers at Netflix. But look,
well, it's not Netflix, it's Amazon Prime.
Thank you. If you are someone like me that sees Donald Trump clearly for who he is, none of this makes any sense. But if you are a business that wants to sell to 75 million people in the country, and what you care about is selling your product, whatever it is, to those people, it's not a far leap for people who voted for him to want to see the backstory of the experience of his wife as he was going to be inaugurated into his second term. Because if you don't see it as a tragedy, yeah, you would be supportive of it. It's a terrible film from everything that we can tell. The demographic that was the most prominent going to it were older white women. The biggest group of support for Donald Trump in this country comes from women, especially older white women. So they made a story about an older white woman to connect with the audience that supports Trump. Yeah. You spend $35 million to tell a third of the country that they can watch something, and then you earn out $7. Great. Stay in business. And I don't care who. I mean, it seems like I know a lot about this for someone who doesn't care, but I don't.
Yeah. Government shutdown on the brink again.
I heard it was already like there's some shutdown in place right now. Is that not true? Like they're gonna
there's
stop.
Like a partial shutdown of some kind.
Yeah, like a slow roll shutdown. Well, look, if Democrats are doing something to make a space for Republicans to back off on funding of ICE, which is what they're doing, they have held up funding that's needed in order to reevaluate the big, beautiful bill and its allocation to ICE and Homeland Security. Good for them.
Yeah. And Alex just mentioned in the chat the final one I was going to ask you about. Doug, Donald Trump is shutting down the Trump Kennedy Center for renovations. It will be closed for 2 years.
He took it over, and then he launched new programming, and then people who were lined up to be there all said, we're not going to do it. So they thought, you know what the easiest thing is to do? Shut it down and call it remodeling.
Yeah. $200 million in renovations happening to the
and I don't know where that money comes from, honestly. I don't know where the Kennedy Center. I've realized, short of American football, the Kennedy Center might be one thing I care about less. Oh. But I will watch the Super Bowl on Sunday. So, yes, I care about the Kennedy Center less. Have you ever cared about the Kennedy Center or the Kennedy Center honors or any of that?
There have been I've at times, caught Kennedy Center honors clips or whatever. If there's someone that I particularly like that is being honored, catch that and watch it. But I mean, yeah. They're sitting up there in the balcony with the little, colored lanyard on. It looks nice.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I have no idea. Look, the reason we care is because Trump is being so stupid and Trumpy about it.
Well, I also think the reason we care,
and then added his name to it and pushed around a bunch of people because he's a fool.
Doug, do you remember the old show on HGTV called Trading Spaces?
Sure.
Trading Spaces would be where neighbors would have their friends remodel their house, redecorate some room in their house, with the help of a designer for a couple of days, and then there would be the reveal of how the room turned out. And I remember there was always one designer that nobody wanted to get. Oh. You liked if that designer was working with you to redecorate your friend's house, but you did not want that designer to redecorate your house. Because she would do crazy things like glue hay to the wall.
Oh, what? You can see where the tension plot in that show was how that was designed. And
We have seen how Donald Trump has remodeled the Oval Office. Do we really want him to be the designer who's going to remodel the Kennedy Center? What is it going to look like when he's done? Is it going to be just like painted in gilded gold everywhere? Like,
Well, apparently Peggy, who knows something about this, is saying that the Kennedy Center is a big deal to artists and musicians in theater and dance. So maybe Donald Trump is going to make it even more theater and dancey in a Mar-a-Lago kind of, filled lip way.
Was it Hildy? Hildy Training Spaces. Hildy.
Oh, Hildy.
Hildy was the designer you did not want on Trading Spaces. Donald Trump is the designer we do not want in the Oval Office or the Kennedy Center or the East Wing or anywhere else.
Well, I just want to agree with Marathon Magana 9644 that the reason more people aren't watching us is this must be part of a demonic plan to keep people away from.
Yeah, somebody got upset with us. Somebody got upset with us in the chat today.
No. Hey, I appreciate. I think we're going to shift into we should probably shift into. No, let's talk a little bit about Texas. The Texas race.
Big win.
Just for
big win.
31-point swing for those who haven't heard this news yet in a state Senate race in a district that Trump had won by like 17 points.
17 points.
And then this Democrat won this special election by 14 points. So a 31-point swing in Tarrant County, I believe, which is not, a bizarro place in Texas. That can be very concerning for Republicans. And I hope that Democrats don't take too much confidence that somehow, problem solved, mission accomplished kind of tone about this, but rather they say, all right, that's one. There's going to be 150 more races like this around the country. Let's stay busy, which I think they will do. I think they will. I think they will. But it's good news. It's good news that a place that was all Trumpy and should have been an easy win for Republicans was actually a flip in Texas.
Yeah, and Donald Trump, was asked about it, claimed he didn't know anything about it, even though, a couple of days before he had posted on Truth Social about the race and, had his endorsement and everything. So, yeah. The thing I worry about, Doug, I've begun worrying about this over the last couple of weeks. Often in American culture, there is a backlash to the backlash. When public opinion swings one way very decisively, it will often swing back. And there will be a backlash to the backlash. My fear is that by the time we get to November, the backlash will be over and we will be in the backlash to the backlash.
Yeah, I hear you. I think not, maybe 2028. For people who change their political opinions, as we know, everyone's on their different time schedule. But this is the period of time where ideas start to cement in people's heads. The chaos, the economy, the bizarre behavior of Trump, and the deadly use of federal force at his command in an American city is not going to go away. It's forming opinions now for non-political people because it has broken through. I think it solidifies and is what's in their minds when it comes to November. I think the things they will be forgetting about is what's happening over the summer and all the rest of it. I think Donald Trump's election was the backlash to the backlash, and this is the backlash to the backlash to the backlash.
Could be. Yep.
Because it's like tides in brackish water, like it's coming in and out, and this is the period of time where things get locked. Look, in 2018 and 2020, we were able to talk about kids in cages because it was in people's minds. Now it's going to be ICE shooting American citizens in the back.
Yeah.
It's because it's true and it's horrible and people don't want it. Not because it's good marketing.
Yeah. Doug,
I
in
think
the
people
comments,
could win in races like in Arkansas where people really gave them no chance. I think it's that kind of a shift.
Donald, according to polling this past week, Donald Trump's approval rating in Arkansas state that he won with nearly 70% of the vote, high 60s. Donald Trump's approval rating is a half point higher than his disapproval rating.
That sounds like one of those complicated word problems. So
his approval rating is a half point higher than his disapproval rating.
And are either of those even at 50%? Like if we take out the don't have an opinion, or is it? Do you remember?
No, they're not at 50%.
Yeah.
But he is.
So his approval rating is in the 40s in Arkansas.
Yeah. Doug, in the comments, Julian Harbor said, like you're actively talking about that minority right now, Epstein class, then why would y'all make merch that says only minority destroying this country is MAGA? I think Julian probably watching on the Christian Left Facebook page. Maybe that sounds like a Christian Left piece of merch. And then Julian says, so no comment. And then Julian says, okay, bye.
I don't know who she's talking to. The way this works, so people just know, is that we put out onto a variety of our channels that we're connected to,
including some partners that we have.
Yeah, Christian Left is part of our thing, progressive Christianity, and so on. That our organization is hand in hand with those folks. And what we see here in the chat is a series of comments that come from all the places, different YouTube channels, different Facebook channels, and all the rest of it. So what we don't do is respond to every single comment that someone makes because it's just impractical and uninteresting. So occasionally we come back and we look at some of these and all the rest of it. There are times of nuance and there's times of moral clarity. We're in a time of moral clarity. That's destabilizing for people who really want there to be some both sidesism nuance. That's dead air on the podcast, people. That's just time for you to. That's just time for you to think. I mean, if you're watching live, you can see we're saying a lot with our eyes.
Yeah. Oh, goodness sakes. Well, thank you to Julian for being along for a little bit. And
I noticed somebody in here said, I am an older white woman and I've never supported Trump. Amen to that. Me too. It's just not true of 50% of you that are in the same.
Not all, hashtag not all men.
Hashtag not all men support Trump. Not all older white women support Trump. But the majority do.
Yabbits, Ducks Y, Peggy. This is a different Peggy, I think, than we normally have with us.
Rob is just saying hello to people.
I'm saying hi to people. Yeah. Yep. Alex, Dave. Hey, Dave. Mary. Thanks for being with us.
Mike Doe makes an interesting point from way back a while ago. I don't know about that. We're talking about libertarians. Libertarians spit along party lines too, even on guns, it seems. Yeah, they do. And you know who I haven't seen? Any of the lines. It'd be great to have any of them.
Yeah.
Anybody checked into the Libertarian Party recently and see if they put out a statement or anything? I don't know. I just know there's a lot of people around that are proud to tell us how they're above the system.
Yeah. Jim, Joy, Michael, loving life always, 8361.
Oh, is Love and Life here? Sorry, I didn't say.
Was earlier. Kenny, Ed was with us. Lisa was with us. Thank you so much for watching.
Hey, one more comment. Alex makes this great comment. I love the idea of peaceful group singing protests. Yeah, I do too. The point of it is that we believe that style is more disruptive. Mm-hmm. I think is what Alex means too. We're not being peaceful to maintain the status quo. We're using peace as a tactic to bring about change.
Yes.
Do you know what's interesting to all the people who say, hey, protesters, remain peaceful? Rarely do they also say, hey, federal agents with guns, remain peaceful. They say things like, boy, if you don't follow their orders, comply or die. But protesters stay peaceful. How about government officials imbued with the authority and the weapons given to you by our government, by our people? You should remain peaceful.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to determine a threat versus an irritant, you should put down your weapons.
Yeah.
Everything we say should apply to the rest of us. We should go out and set down our jobs, so we should go out and protest. All should be applied to the people causing the problem. Don't tell us to be peaceful if you're not willing to be peaceful. Like, I do think we should be peaceful, and so should you. I'm not saying you're going to get an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I'm saying the very thing that you think is required upon the protesters, if you don't also apply it upon the people who we imbue an unbelievable amount of authority in, need to be peaceful.
Yeah. Hey, and I also want a special shout out and say thank you to Clear Sterility JIXQHPC5X. Hey, thanks so much for following along today and being with us.
Kenny makes a good point. I detest the GOP, but what's so good about Democrats? The only answer is they're not Trump. Yep, that could be enough. See what he's doing to our country? Do you see what the Republicans around him are doing? People who won't do that are better than people who would. What's so good about not Republicans that are Democrats?
They're not Republicans.
They're not going to stand for the things that the Republicans are standing for. That's what. I hope that's enough. When you look at the disaster being brought not everything should be compared to perfection or goodness or ultimate desire. It should be compared to the alternative. Having Democrats in charge of the House of Representatives and the United States Senate will be better for America. Why? Because they're good and perfect? Because they're not the people who are enabling what's happening now. That's why. And then we can argue about all the things about whichever political party is better on all the other issues. But if you don't want this nonsense, this horror, your vote is your tool to bring about change. It's not your final statement on everything you desire in the world. Make the common good your voting criteria, not your own personal expression. Mm-hmm. Start an Instagram channel, start a YouTube channel, go to the community center and join an art class and make something that expresses the beauty and perfection that you desire to see in the world. That's what we're all doing. But you walk in the voting booth, you're not contrasting a Democrat to perfection. You're contrasting them with the people who will continue to support this administration. It doesn't make voting sound all that wonderful, but it's not supposed to be. Look, voting, truthfully, is one of the lower levels of civic engagement. We barely should get a sticker for it, let alone a medal. Do your voting responsibility and then go build social cohesion in our society. Because that do you know why Minneapolis was able to repel this ICE thing and able to stand up against this kind of an onslaught and didn't buckle our knees? Not because our political leaders, because there was enough social cohesion here that we knew how to stand together.
Yeah.
And what Republicans are doing all over this country is trying to attack social cohesion. There's a whole other thing. I'll probably do a whole podcast, a whole live stream about this on a separate topic about what's really behind MAGA's anti-immigrant narrative in this country. They have laid it out crystal clear. Most of us don't pay any attention to what the argument of MAGA is about why they think there's too many immigrants in the country. It's disgusting and it's wrong, but it's what they're doing. And the reason they come after certain blue cities is because they think the kind of multiculturalism that's in these cities is a threat to American civilization. They have it completely backward.
Yep.
So that's what we're up against. We should argue, and people that are our representatives should go to Congress, as Robb will, and then they should work out all the other details that we want to argue about all the other things. But at some point, fundamental liberties should be on your list of what you're voting about. Or you could say, would I make more money, or would I have more change back from the dozen eggs and a $5 bill? That's an option, completely. None of you want, of course, none of us want that option. Not going to sell the American dream for a promise of cheaper eggs, right? Right?
I don't know. He might. I don't know. Would you sell your birthright for a bowl of porridge?
Wow. See what Robb just did there is he took us back into the Jewish text that has a whole story of warning about someone selling away their birthright, their blessing, their place in a beloved community for a bowl of porridge. Why is that around? Because that's the temptation that faces humanity. And the thing is, in that story, at least the guy got the bowl of porridge. In this story, how's affordability working
even get
for
the
you?
cheaper eggs.
I mean, TikTok, it's just, okay. So things break, we fix them. You fall down, you get up. You make a mistake, you do it a couple more times, and then you do it less times down the road. Whatever. Like, okay, here we go. When federal masked agents come rolling into your town, what are you going to do?
Sing to them.
Blow plastic whistles and sing to them. While the rest of the MAGA in the country are yelling like, so much violence in Minneapolis. All the smoke bombs, all the scenes you've seen where people are wearing gas masks and stuff, that was federal agents using all of that against American citizens. The chaos was brought by them.
Yep.
And then they're like, wow, is it dangerous to go to Minneapolis? Not when ICE leaves.
Yep. Wasn't before they arrived.
And also, I mean, somebody else was in there like, hey, you Democrats, get your, all your money, all these immigrants live off of all of our money. Look, if you're still paying federal income tax, Donald Trump told you you're a sucker. Just don't pay your federal income tax. That's what Donald says. Hey, and little hint, the money you pay in federal taxes is not used to fund the budget. So you're not paying for anything. So if you think it's like,
research,
do your own research. They're taking our money and they're spending it on these things.
Monetary theory. Google that.
Google that up. My rep offered me 30 pieces of silver. Yeah, but you have our sense of humor. Hey, we've been going at this for an hour and a half. Are you done yet?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah,
give us a candidate update here, Robb. What's happening in the let's go big Robb on the screen.
Yeah.
That's
while we
what
were
I have
having
written on
this,
my little button here. Big Rob.
while we're what, while we were having this conversation, I got a text from my campaign manager about an event that I've got tonight.
Oh.
Just a heads up that 6 of the RSVPs for tonight are Republicans. One has a son who is a cop, and one who's big on military funding. And also, there's also a Charlie Kirk fan coming who thinks immigrants are stealing our health care. So, looking forward to tonight's event. I got to maybe do a little prep to be ready. This isn't going to be one of those, preaching to the choir kind of events. So, looking forward to that.
I love it. Are you going to do the thing where that's on people's minds, so your opening comments are getting right at that and just sort of take their energy out? I mean, that's
probably
That's
why I want to do. That's why I want to do a little prep. Be ready.
Yeah. See ya.